Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about in terms of multiplying and dividing polynomials is going to be... Okay, the next thing that we're going to look at in terms of our multiplication and division is we're going to talk about multiplying binomials. In the last section I said that we were not going to do anything other than divide by a monomial, so this is just going to be multiplication from here for this section and the next section. So, in order to do this section, the first thing you need to know is understand the distributive property. You also need to be able to... So the next thing that we want to look at is we're going to talk about multiplying binomials. This is one of the classic multiplication problems, or one of the classic problems that we work with when we're talking about polynomials. In order to do this, the first thing you need to know is understand how the distributive property works. Also, you need to be able to multiply monomials. And these monomials, these are going to be getting a little bit more basic, so hopefully you can do it in your head. So, upon completing this presentation, you'll be able to multiply binomials containing one or more variables. Our procedure. We have a quick little way to remember multiplying binomials, which is FOIL. So what does something out of your kitchen have to do with math? Well, this is another acronym just like Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. And all it tells you is the order that you want to do your multiplication in. Now, you do not necessarily have to follow FOIL exactly, as long as you follow the basic idea. So if you want to do floy or fleo or fiol or lofi or oil F or whatever, it doesn't matter. This is just an organizational scheme. So FOIL, what does it stand for? It tells us that we want to multiply in the following order: firsts, outsides, insides, and lasts. In general, you want to make sure that you multiply everything in the first set by everything in the second set. Remember your rules for exponents when multiplying terms. Multiply the coefficients, add the exponents of each variable together. We are going to be getting into a second step for this, which is going to be combine like terms. And so recall that like terms means that everything but the coefficient must be exactly the same. Man, I'm just looking at my typing and thinking, I've got lots of typos in here. But we're not going to worry about them right now, because they are correct on the notes. Okay, anyway, combine like terms. Remember that everything but the coefficient must be exactly the same. And that remember when combining like terms, you want to add or subtract the coefficients. Leave the variables and exponents the same. So let's go ahead and look at some examples of FOIL and multiplying binomials. So if we look at the first example, we have x plus 3 times x plus 2. So the first thing that I want to do is use FOIL. So F means multiply the firsts. So I want to take the first term in each binomial and multiply it. We get x times x is x squared. O stands for outsides. My outsides is basically the one on the far left and the one on the far right. So we get x times 2 is 2x. Now we want to multiply the insides, which means that we want to multiply the inside things. So we get 3 times x is 3x. And lasts refers to the last term in each set of parentheses. We get plus 6. 3 times 2. Our last step as I said, is we do want to combine like terms. In general, if you can, it's probably just going to be the two middle ones here. So we are left with x squared. 2x and 3x combine to give us 5x. And we still have our plus 6. And that's basically it for what it means to multiply two binomials. Okay, so let's look at a couple more examples. Let's come down to example B. So B, again, I'm going to multiply my firsts. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. We get 3x times minus 4 is minus 12x. Insides, we want 7 times 2x is plus 14x. And last, we get 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. From here, we can combine our like terms, and we get 6x squared. Negative 12x plus 14x is plus 2x. And then minus 28. And you're done. Okay, last example, we have example C. So again, first, we want to multiply x times 3x will give me 3x squared. Outsides, x times minus 5y, we get minus 5xy. Insides, negative 4y times 3x, we get minus 12yx, or you can write that as minus 12xy. Remember, it's multiplication. I can rearrange this in any order that I want. And then our lasts, we get plus 20y squared. From there, we combine our like terms. Again, note that the middle terms are the only ones that can be combined here. So we get 3x squared, negative 5 and negative 12 combine to give me negative 17xy plus 20y squared. And that's it. So, as I said, if you want to use FOIL, that's fine. Okay, as I said, it is just an organizational scheme. The main thing is note that we are multiplying everything in the second set of parentheses by the first term, and then multiplying everything in the second set of parentheses by the second term. So as long as you multiply everything in the first set by everything in the second set, then you will get a correct answer. Okay, so when will we see this again? In the next module, we're going to be talking about factoring. And factoring is the exact opposite of multiplying. So, to check your answers to a problem, you'll use techniques presented in this section. Also, when solving more complex quadratic equations, you will need to start by clearing parentheses, which may require you to FOIL. When performing operations with rational and radical expressions or equations, you may also have to use the techniques presented in this section. Once you feel confident enough with the material, try the following problems on your own. Bring your solutions and any questions that you have to class. Go ahead and take a moment to pause the presentation so that you can work on these before continuing on to the next slide. Now that you've finished this section, please answer the following questions. How confident are you with the material presented? What from this section needs to be explained further? And how much more practice do you need to be comfortable with the topic?